Welcome to my humble little office. My name is R. Keith Andrews. I am a spiritual guide and paranormal adept, and the journey continues today on April 5th, 2021 at approximately 3:10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Now, we've talked about a lot of things, and let's get started on one little detail. Okay, we keep going back to it. Let's get started. Well, welcome to the first day of the rest of your life. Now, it doesn't matter how you got to where you are. Okay, what matters is that you know where you are. And that's easy. Take a look around you. Whether you can see, whether you're only able to hear, whether you're only able to, to know things in an odd sense, doesn't matter how you know where you are. Take a look at where you are. Okay, that's where we start. Because no matter what station in life you're at, no matter what you've been through, the one consistency with everybody is you are where you are right now. And the fact that you're listening to this video says you're looking for something. You may not know what it is. I was told when I was growing up, I was told that you have to have a plan in order. You've got to have an idea of where you desire to go in life in order to get ahead. And what I found over the last 45 years of consulting with people in both personal life and business is that most people, like the massive majority, don't really know where they're heading until they're in their late 40s, early 50s. Now, I'm a month away from being 58, and one of my primary goals at this point is helping you understand how to get where you're heading for without going through 50 years of trying to figure it out. So, if you're young, if you're old, if you're tiny, if you're ancient, doesn't matter. Doesn't even matter what race you are. And let's get that side first. First rule of thumb, doesn't matter what you're dealing with, the odds are if you're watching this, you're human. Okay? Don't care the color. Doesn't matter. And when I get done this video, I'm going to be dealing with that side of things as well on another video I work with. But wherever you are, you don't have to know where you're heading. What you have to know is, are you content with your life the way it is? If the answer is no, which I'm willing to bet based on the state of the world, it probably is no, then the trick to it is start eliminating, start transforming everything you're not content with into something you are content with. Doesn't matter what you change it to, because the reality is, if when you change it you're not content, you can change it again in most cases. Okay, that's where we start. Okay, now, two real simple tools. There's, well, three things, and we're just going to go through them really quickly. The only laws I worry about, okay, and don't get me wrong, when we're talking societal law, follow them. It saves you a lot of headaches. But where it comes to spiritual law, I only look at three. Be true to yourself first. Do unto others as you desire them to do unto you. Energy out, energy in. That's the first tool. The second tool is I have over here a sign that says, I am worth it. The four most powerful words in combination that I've personally come across in any language that will help alter your self-esteem. Okay, just by keeping those handy, it will help put things in place. Up here, to do with finances, I have another sign that goes, I have legally attained a minimum of $2,000 per month by April 30th, 2021 at 1 minute to midnight. Now, that $2,000 is literally what I require to run my household. Okay. Now, that said, take a look at where your life is. And I forgot to bring it with me. Oh, well, guess I'm not going to be showing it today. Oh, wait a minute. No, it's right there. Told you this is live. This funny little thing here, notepad. I have that handy. As you can see, I don't expect you to read it, okay? But you can tell there's writing on it. That writing is to make sure I stay on track.
telling me.
Okay. And in case you hadn't noticed, I'm not perfect. And if I was interested in actually reorganizing things, if I was interested in making this a perfect video, first of all, I'd have a different outfit. But I have what I have. Now, the first rule of thumb, well, I keep going the first. That's a really bad habit because it's really not the first. But where we're standing right now is this. In order to get ahead, you have to start, you've got to let go of the past. Now, this does not mean forget who you are. Okay, it means take a look at what you've got that you're hanging on to. Is it actually serving you at all? Now, you've been watching this is still the same seat I've been sitting in. The computer's still set in the same place. But you're noticing changes happen behind me. And there's going to be some pretty massive changes this week. I'm just waiting for the office furniture. Now, what we do at this point, this table behind us is I've got to knock down everything. But what I've come to the conclusion of is, for me, in determining what success is the critical factor. What do you see as success? Take a look at the small things, and that's where this list comes in. Okay, the biggest challenge anybody on the planet has for getting a day started, regardless of if you're getting up daytime or nighttime, the most critical challenge to start with is get yourself out of bed. If you don't get out of bed, you're not doing a whole lot. Now, there are people that have to stay in bed. Even they can get things done. Okay, and don't get me wrong, we can go into extremes or even into generalities at this point. There are many people who are physically not capable of getting out of bed. Okay, mental incapacity to get out of bed, most of it can be overwritten. Because what people don't realize, and the doctors certainly haven't been forthcoming on this one, mind you, in all fairness, the doctors don't actually know, is that every cell in the human body, well, every cell in the corporeal body can be reprogrammed. They all have a blueprint for a perfectly healthy body. Okay. Now, there was a comment made centuries back. All that I do, thou shalt do, and more. Well, quite frankly, I'm living proof of certain things that can be done. Not the least of which is when we're talking about health. I used to, if I was holding my glasses literally that close to my body, I could not physically see them. I currently have 20/20 eyesight where it comes to reading. I did not have an operation. I did not change my diet, although I really should. Okay. I simply found a way to reactivate the cells in my body in a different fashion so that I can actually do things that I couldn't do before. Okay. You have the capacity to do the same thing, but let's be clear on this. If you're seeing a doctor, keep seeing the doctor. If you're on medication, stay on medication until the doctor that put you on the medication can see what's going on. In most cases, there's always exceptions, so how about if we understand that? And rest assured, my doctor is not happy with me on a lot of them. But you take a look at where your life is. You have to have, the one thing that you do have to have, or one of the critical things, in order to move forward, you have to have a purpose, a reason to move forward. And rest assured, some doctors, some parents, some friends saying you've got to stop this behavior and change to this isn't going to work much if you don't get it. Okay, I can't tell you the number of doctors that have told people, if you don't quit smoking, you're going to get cancer. If you don't get drinking, you're going to kill yourself. People don't do that unless they've got a reason. Unfortunately, this applies to helping each other. Okay, most of the time, the way to get people en masse to help each other is give them a common problem. Now that said, it has to be a rather extreme one, not one of these, and this is going to sound bad, but the COVID mess that's going on right now clearly has not galvanized the community. If anything, it's created a massive rift between them. When I'm talking about a common problem, throw an earthquake into the middle of things, and people will, on the whole, help each other. Yes, you've got those people that have really missed the boat altogether and will start looting. Okay, but on the whole, people will help. Now, my goal is simple. Get the message out to people. Here's how you can change your life for the better. Now, here's the neat thing. Go into, people say clothing makes the person. If that were in fact true, when you put people into a school, when you put them into a uniform of any form, they would behave the same way. Watch any private school, watch any business, watch any, well, quite frankly, watch the military, or the postal service for that matter. You put them all in the same uniform, they do not all act the same. However, what you're wearing will affect the way you carry yourself, and will affect the way people treat you. You don't believe me? Don't take my word for it. For pity's sakes, don't take my word for it. If you don't believe me, try this. Get dressed up in grungy clothing, walk into a store, like clean, but walk into a store. Okay, then a few weeks later, get into the best clothing you can, walk into the same store, and see what kind of difference you get. Okay, now there is an old saying that goes, you can take the cowboy out of the farm. You can take the cowboy off the range, but you can't take the range off the cowboy. The person inside the clothing is still going to be the same person. But you can teach yourself to behave in a different fashion. Okay, the only thing, just before anybody gets the idea that they're supposed to believe exactly what I say, don't. Okay, examine it for yourself. I'm just relaying what I've been through. Now, I do know that I personally feel much better once I wake up in the morning. I wake up, get myself organized, and get dressed. Some people will lounge around for hours in their night clothes, if not days. Okay, and that's fine. If that's what you're content with, that's great. But if you're aiming at changing your life, it starts from the moment you wake up. And the trick to it is when you wake up, wait long enough for your eyes to focus enough to see, if at all possible. There are times you'll wake up and that just isn't going to work. You got to get moving right now. But when you wake up, organize your head so you can see straight. Get up, get dressed, get your bed made. Start the day off with that. And the reason for that is it gets you with a successful start. This list, you keep the list down to jobs that are 15 minutes to half an hour long. The reason for that is because it's much easier to stay motivated if you're seeing success. Now, if you start a job off at 2 hours long, and you go, it's going to take me 2 hours to do that. If that's what you start with, and you get called away, if you're like me, you get called away regularly. You get called away from it. There's two problems. One, you have to find another 2-hour gap. And two, you already feel like you didn't get anything done. If, on the other hand, you break that task down into 15-minute to half-hour jobs, you get through the first 15, you check it off, you check off a job, and add a third one. Okay, now, I start off usually with close to a dozen, but check it off. If you get called away, you've already got one done. You can come back and go, oh, I got it done, but now I only need an hour and a half. So another 15 minutes, I can rack off another one. You will feel much better. Okay. Again, don't take my word for it. Okay. Give it if you haven't done this before, do it. Okay, there's an old saying that goes, try, if at first you don't succeed, try again. Take a look at my other videos. There's a series that I've titled Language, where I elaborate on many different words, not the least of which is try, to explain why they are self-debilitating, self-limiting. Okay, so starting today, this is the first day of the rest of your life. When you get things started, okay, what you'll find happen is you slowly get things changed. It did not take you a second to get here, to where you are. However long your life has been, you're here now. It's where you go from here that will make the difference in your life, not what you've been through. And as I told my parents years ago, okay, when I tore my leg apart, Mom was trying, I didn't break it, I did a mess on it. But my mom was trying to be nice, and she was trying to be supportive, and she goes, look, your friend, your brother's friend down the road, he broke his arm. I looked at her and I went, Mom, not to be cold, but he could have broken both his arm, both his legs and his arm. It still wouldn't make me feel any better. Okay, each individual's difficulties are their own. And that does boil down to an issue of, you have to take a look at them and go, okay, do I have to continue with them? Now, my eyesight, for the most part, I managed to correct. It's not perfect. Yes, I've got 20/20 eyesight for reading. I still, even at this distance, I look at the video that I'm at my computer screen. That came out well. I look at my computer screen, and I don't see it as clearly as I would like. But at least I'm not like this far from the screen to be able to see the whites of my own eyes. Okay, so get them in the purpose that you've got to look at. Take a look at whatever the goal. There's your short purpose. That goal. You have to have a plan. Now, most simple jobs are very easy. If your purpose is to get your letter opener from this hand to this one, that doesn't take a lot of planning. It's just a case of moving. But if it's redesigning your office, it's going to take some work. Or reorganizing your house. It is going to take some definitive work. Okay, so you've got to have a purpose. What is your goal? Lay out a plan for it, 15-minute to half-hour jobs where possible, and get them racked off. Okay, it's going to take persistence. You have to stay on track. Now, where it comes to habits, even work habits, it takes an average, from what I've seen, of 21 days. Okay, 21 days doing the same thing quite often will build a habit so it becomes a normal routine. 21 days to build it, 21 days to break it. Some people it takes faster, some people it takes slower. That's where the fourth issue comes in, and that is persistence. You've got to stay, you've got the persistence, you've got to have patience to let it happen. Now, these tools, these things I'm talking about right now, are the same tools I personally use. Okay, which is why I have a sign over there, like I've said before, got a sign over there that says, I am worth it. The changes I'm making for me, and that's the same way you've got to look at it. If you're going to make changes, yes, you can be motivated by, I want to make this other person happy. But ultimately, if you're not content with the changes you're making, they won't hold in all likelihood. Okay, I also have a sign up here regarding finances that says I have legally attained a minimum of $2,000 by April 30th, 2021 at 1 minute to midnight. Now, to be clear, that $2,000 is what it cost me to run this house. Okay, utilities, rent, food, insurance, all of that. Figure out what yours is, what you require for a month. That's the number you put in where I put $2,000. Okay, you take a look at that, And that gives what writing these things down, by the way, does is it draws the energy out of the spiritual world, draws it into the material world to make it manifest. Okay, and that's where this idea of energy out, energy in comes in. Whatever you're focusing on, whatever you put the effort into, that's what you're going to get. Okay, that's what you're stacking the deck. It does not mean you'll absolutely get everything you're aiming for, but it does lend in that direction. Like, for instance, if I want to drink my coffee, I can leave it sit there, and I can think about, oh gee, I really desire that coffee. But the reality is, if I don't reach over and grab it, I'm not getting it. Okay, so get straight in your own head what you're aiming for. Okay, and then set out to make it happen. Now, my goals for today are real simple. I've got to get this office cleaned out because I got new furniture coming in, so I'm gutting the office. Okay, for you, it may be something else. It's up to you to decide what that is. But I will tell you this. You start changing the way your house is. Now, they say one person cannot make a difference. Well, yeah, they can. Okay. I mean, just take a look at it this way. We can go to extremes and go, one person can set off a blast at a work site, at a controlled blast at a legal work site, and with the flick of a button, after a little bit of prep work, can create a massive crater if they know what they're doing. Okay, on simpler terms, take a look at the way you are. You don't believe the things that you affect other people? All you have to do is start working with it. Say hi to the people around you. Okay, one thing that has really gone the way of the dodo bird in a lot of cases is people aren't talking as much as they used to. They're starting to talk again, and this is a good thing. But if you alter the way your life is feeling, you're going to change the way you're feeling. That side effect will alter the way that you treat other people and subsequently the way they treat you. Okay, now it is my firm belief that by utilizing the tools that I've personally got, that I personally put to use, that are tried and tested by thousands of other people, it is my personal belief that we can, working together, change this world to a better world. Okay. Now, myself, I prefer peace and quiet. I prefer the energy to run smoothly. Okay. But the catch is you have to be comfortable with you first. And that takes some getting used to. And yes, it takes the support of other people quite often. There is a concept that goes, no man is an island unto themselves. Well, in all fairness, no island is an island unto itself. They are all connected. Everything is connected. But where it comes to personal success, start with you. The other people, you'll have the surplus to be able to help other people if that's your desire, once you've got yourself moving in the right direction. Now, this doesn't mean you have to be in perfect shape, because Lord knows I'm not. Okay, if I were in perfect shape, I'd be a lot more content. But I'm working on it, and I've got a goal to get there. But while I'm working on it, I'm in the process of helping other people at the same time. Now, frankly, it's because of the encouragement I got from my clients, from listeners on the radio show that I do the first Friday of every month on Spaced Out Radio. It's because of the encouragement I had from them, from all of you, that I finally got into doing this video journal, if you will. Okay, the one I call The Journey. Okay, it's been going on every day since March 6th. Okay, so I guess tomorrow we make the 1 month mark. And I'm very happy to say, at least I'm happy for me. Now this is a tiny, tiny number compared to most people, but for me it was a marker. Okay, just a couple of days ago, I hit the 100 subscribers marker, and 100 is such a tiny number compared to the big YouTubers. The big difference between myself And those people they've been at it longer and they're much better at marketing. Okay, it's like any industry. Okay, for those of you that are out there trying to get a restaurant up and running, the difference between you and a big chain like Boston Pizza up here in Canada, I have no idea of all the names of all the major chains. Okay, but the big difference is they've had more time and they've had better marketing. Okay, same idea with any industry. Okay, I know of one airline that when I first met it had a couple of planes and is now an international concern. Okay, it takes time, it takes effort. This is where that thing about having things organized, which is why while I'm talking about these things, I'm in the process of writing all of this information down. I'm currently in the middle of writing, I believe, approximately 30 books in 5 different genres. Okay, on top of doing the videos and everything else. But yeah, that keeps my days going rather hectic. Last night, I'm a mess today. I know it may not seem like it to you. To me, I feel a little bit of a mess. I passed out last night at about, I'm guessing, 9:30. Okay. But I ended up waking up at 2:30 in the morning. Okay, and right now we are now pushing, yeah, come to think of where you are. We're pushing just past 3:30 right now. Okay, but with that in mind, okay, it is time to work together. So, I'm going to leave it until tomorrow morning. Hopefully I'll be a little more organized tomorrow morning, at least up here. Time to get that sorted around, but until then, give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, okay, and if you're looking to get in contact with me, there's a list of contact points below this video that will tell you where you can get in touch with me. I will do my best to respond. I will be doing more videos as we go on. Until then, take care of yourselves and each other, and for pity's sakes, stay positive.